I grew up with like Indians and cowboys. I grew up in the Midwest. I love like two things that don't normally go together. May baba bio u kafana, u trio yutro.
One of the first things that I noticed about you when we first met, I remember telling him that day, I said, I didn't know men like you exist.
And the truth is that you can be hard and soft at the same time. I was 16 years old when I met my cum David. We got in a fight after school because I was kind of like making fun of him, and then he knocked me out. He beat me up and put me in the hospital.
Oh my God.
Damn.
And I saw this girl in the corner like singing, and then we started dating. And then after about 2 months, she's like, let me introduce you to my twin brother, David. And I was like, oh goodness. The guy that beat me up.
No way.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Pretty Deep. We are so happy you're here, and today it's a special day because we have our first guest on the show.
Let's go. I'm honored. I just want to say I'm honored.
Jibri Bell.
Hello, Daya, Petra.
Hello.
Thanks for
Thank
being
you so
here.
much. It means a lot to us.
It means a lot to me to be the first guest on your guys' amazing adventure on Pretty Deep. I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank you.
Because this is awesome. You guys are two friends on a journey together, starting something from the beginning, and I get to be a part of that. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to Pretty Deep Podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Jibri. Can you tell me, to start off, who's Jibri in 3 words?
Ooh, 3 words. Okay. Spontaneous, adventurous, and inspiring.
Wow.
Those are the three words I describe myself with.
That's beautiful.
That was quick too. He was just able to explain it in like
Yeah.
that.
I gotta be
Yeah,
on top of
he
it.
knows
I gotta
his
be in the
truth.
game.
Yeah.
So I've been watching your videos long before we met, actually. And I love what you do. I love how inspirational you are and the messages that you have for people. And when did that all started? Like, have you always been like this? Did you always have the niche for people and for helping people and for beautiful communication and seeing person for who they are? And when did your journey start?
My journey started in 1993 because what am I? I'm on level 31 right now. I just decided I'm not going to say my age anymore. I'm going to say my level because this is a game called life and I want to play it to the fullest. So I'm on level 31, but I feel like I'm on like level 60 already. I feel like I've lived so much life, but yeah, it started in 1993. I was born in the West Coast. My mom's side of the family is from California, and then my dad's side of the family is from Chicago, Illinois. And so, yeah, that's when it all started. So I've always had like just a gift for seeing people for who they are, and then just really juxtaposition. I love like two things that don't normally go together. That's my favorite thing.
What do you mean by that?
Like I love like two things. Like in the Balkan culture, you know how you have aerocreme? You know what aerocreme is? It's like brown and white, and when those put those two things together, it's sweet.
Interesting. Are you applying to?
I love things. I love things that are not supposed to go together.
Are you applying to the fact that you love white girls then?
I do, but it's also just the factor that I just love anything that's just opposite of each other and it meets in the middle. And that's me as somebody who's biracial, you know. My dad's black, my mom's half white, half black, so it's always been different for me because I grew up with like Indians and cowboys. You know?
No way.
I grew up in the Midwest, so I grew up like being kind of one of a kind, being an anomaly, being a black sheep, and so I love things that are different. So to answer your question, I love humans. I love being in rooms and just being the odd one out. It's kind of just been like my superpower.
But also two opposites create the balance, right? So you seek the balance.
Yeah, I think yin and yang, right?
Yeah,
like that's what it's about, and I like to be that.
It's so funny because we went to the gym, and I think of myself as a social person. This guy, oh my God, he talks to everyone, and it's like I'm just trying to leave the gym, and it's like this person's talking to him, and this person. I'm like, how many people can you talk to?
Yeah, my grandma's like that. My grandma just talks to every single person she possibly can.
Do you think she taught you that?
I think it was passed down, in my jeans. And then also my grandpa's a cowboy, so he's always like selling things. He was always selling wallets, and he had a restaurant, and he was, had cows and ranch. Yeah, just always hustling. So I've always been like that, just been very social butterfly, gift of gab.
I love that.
And now that you bring up your grandma, you told me your grandma's gay now.
My grandma literally is coming from Nebraska, and then she was a white woman from Nebraska. She went on a trip to Los Angeles, met my grandfather, who was a runner for UCLA. He was one of the first people to run the 4-minute mile, like to break the records really fast. He ran with like Prefontaine and O.J. Simpson on the weekends. Like he was a wild runner. And he met my grandma, and then they had my mom and my
And he's
aunt.
black?
Yep, he's black.
Okay.
And he's from South Central LA. Mm-hmm. My grandma's from Nebraska. And they met, and they had my mom and my aunt. And then my grandma later came out as gay, and then she started dating my grandma, my other grandma.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it's always been. Yeah.
So how old was she when she kind of?
I'm not sure, but like she just was like one of the women I grew up with. She's got like lots of tattoos. She's got always colorful hair. She's just like
interesting.
She's just a person with so many stories and lived so many lives. So I grew up with 2 grandmas. Yeah.
I love that. So you never met your grandfather then?
Never met my grandfather,
Okay.
but I met my grandma's grandfather though. So my great grandfather, he was a
Okay.
cowboy, and that was weird for him to accept. Like my grandma going to California. And,
Sure.
Yeah. That's crazy. Možda pričam malo hrvatski, srpski.
Oh, okay.
Ali
Here
ti
we
ne
go.
pričaš hrvatski, ti pričaš srpski.
Pa ja hoću da učim.
Rekao si mi da si ti u stvari vodio svoju babu u Beograd.
Aha.
Šta se tu desilo i kako je tvoja baba koja je u stvari lezbijka, ili tako? Kako se
Kako se kaže lezbek?
Lezbijka,
Da, moj baba je pedar.
I love it.
Moj baba je pedar, stvarno. Moj baba je pedar.
Oh God.
Moj baba je malo luda, to je to. On ima ljubitelj kosta. Moj baba ima puno tatuaže.
Dobro.
Moj baba vozi motor. Vum, kao Harley Davidson, razumeš?
Wow.
Ona je luda. Ona kaže, zašto ti sviđa Srbija? Kaže, zato što ovdje je najbolji zemlja. Ona kaže, okej, ja hoću da dođem u Srbiju.
No way.
Moj baba dođe u Beograd. Moj baba bio u kafana u 3 ujutro. Pijemo malo rakiju. Moj baba kaže, ovo je dobro zemlja. I slušaj, muzika, Balkan muzika, seca, u kafana, u 3 ujutro, moj baba je legenda. Volim te, baka. Moj baka je legenda, pravi. Ali ona je dobra, znaš kakav dobro.
Ali kako može biti tebi baba ako je lezbijka, ne razumijem, mislim, ona imala sa ženom djecu? Ili imala sa muškarcem djecu?
Ne znam, moja baba voli kurac pre i sada ona ne voliš kurac, sad ona voliš pička, da, ne znam. Pa to je to.
Our podcast just got very dirty, guys.
Šta je to? To je to. Moj baka je luda. Moj
That's
baka je
fine. I
luda.
love I would love to meet your grandma. That's how you should live.
My
Just
grandma's
live
a
your
legend.
truth, guys.
Hey, I mean, whatever's cool for you. But for me, growing up with 2 grandmas was really cool because then I was able to like understand like feminine energy for like really I grew up with 2 grandmas. I grew up with my aunt. I grew up with my mom. So
What
I was
about
around a lot
brothers
of
and sisters?
no brothers. Now
You're
I
the
have
only child?
yeah. Now I have brothers later. Like when I was 5, my mom married.
Oh, okay.
She got married, and then I had 2 stepbrothers.
Oh, okay.
And then when I was 17, I got to meet the other side of my family. So then I had like.
But
4
essentially, you're
brothers.
the only child. I mean, living 17
Yeah,
years
yeah.
on your own, basically.
Yeah,
Oh, me
but
too. I'm the only child. As
you're the only
well.
child too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Wow, I'm left out.
Yeah, that-
Well, I was till I was 9, okay?
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
It was cool. I grew up with a lot of women, so for me, I've always had so much like understanding of people through because I grew up with women.
one
so.
of the first things that I noticed about you when we first met, and we met in Serbia, and it's such a crazy story, but we ended up shooting this video for his song, his Serbian song. It was really fun, and we got to wear like Serbian traditional clothing and everything. And I remember telling him that day, I said, I didn't know men like you exist. And what I meant by that was the emotional intelligence in a man. And it's still so hard to meet men that are vulnerable, that are open, that can talk about their emotions, that are so emotionally deep. And I think I just wanted to ask you today about how you think you got to that point of being able to be so open and have that emotional intelligence, because most men don't have it, but in order for them to truly connect with a woman, they have to have it.
Oh,
so
100%.
if they can learn one thing from you today, I would want them to learn that.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that loving yourself and accepting yourself for who you are helps, you know, because I really care what people think about me, but then I really don't care what people think about me. So like I've always been that since a kid, you know.
That's
like I'm able to
interesting.
the pink shirt. Like I don't. Does this make me gay because I
Looks
wear
great
a
on
pink
you,
shirt?
though.
Like
Looks great.
thank you. For me, it's like I like pink. I like
But
blue and green, and
Different things.
I'm able to accept myself. And when you're able to accept yourself and understand who you are, I think that you start to not really care about perceptions. So I think most men in this day and age, they feel like they got to be so hard and so tough. And once you're able to take off that armor and take off all those preconceived conceptions of you, then you're able to like understand the truth. And the truth is that you can be hard and soft at the same time. You can be very masculine but still connected to your feminine, and I think that that's important. So for me, I'm always thinking about everything from both perspectives, you know, because I grew up with so much women. So even like on the left side of my arm, you see like this is a Sitting Bull. This is an ancient Native American warrior that grew up in the South Dakotas, and I got my yin and yang, and then I got the horse, and this is feminine, and then this is very masculine on my left side, and then on the right side it's feminine with Queen Nefertiti and like the key that I have to unlock my life. Wow. So for me, it's always about having that balance, and I think that helps with having the emotional intelligence, because if you're just one way or another, it's really hard, you know. It's really
hard.
But
I also think you growing up with so many women.
Yeah.
That's why I think that was a big factor.
Yeah, I mean, even growing up with my grandma, she was always just like making sure that we would go feed the dogs like you like I've seen you do, or she would like we'd go feed ducks at the park, or she'd always be like, these people are trying to, you know, cut down the forest, let's go save the trees or replant some trees, or like she's always thinking about others. You know, my grandmother was an educator, she's a teacher. My mom's a therapist, my aunt's a delivery nurse. So I grew up with healers. I grew up with women that were always giving, you know, love and light to other people.
And strong women too.
Strong women, which in turn really helped me. And but it was important too, because I had a really great stepdad in my life, and then later I got to meet my biological father, and we got a relationship. So it's so important to have both the masculine and the feminine balance.
So you say that you met your father later on in life.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I reconnected with my biological father, my real dad. And that was when I was about 15 years old, because him and my mom split up at like 5. So I reconnected with him when I was 15 years old. And that was like a huge shift in my life.
Did you remember him?
Of course. Oh. I missed him so much. And I never got a chance to talk to him until I was like 15. And, you know, in America especially, like growing up as a Black interracial kid, you know.
Was that hard?
It was difficult difficult in the beginning, because not knowing who I was. Now I totally know who I am.
But
and where I am.
You're saying like interracial kid, but also you were raised by your mother who's mixed and your dad who's a white man, right?
Right.
And so you're saying that it was hard because you didn't have your dad.
Well, yeah, because, you know, had I have grown up with my dad in Chicago, he's from the south side of Chicago, it would have been so much different. My life would have been different. But the fact that I got to have him in my life and now have the relationship that I have with him is amazing, because most Black males in America, a lot of them don't have that relationship with their dad. And you got to think it used to be like 1 in 4 Black men were in prisons. Now that's been like 1 in 3. So there's not a lot of young men, especially from like the south side of Chicago, where my dad's side of the family's from, they don't have their dads in their life.
What, if you don't mind me asking, what is your dad's reasoning for leaving? Like, why did he leave you when you were 5?
Him and my mom didn't work out. I think my mom didn't want me growing up in the south side of Chicago. My dad moved to Seattle. So it was just like divorce, or they weren't even married at the time, but I think the same reason that probably the majority of young kids in America don't have their dads or their moms there because of, I think a lot of, what is it, like 60% divorce rate, something like that? Maybe I'm wrong, but it's
Especially
crazy.
Nowadays.
It's crazy.
So your dad was essentially gone since you were 5.
Yep.
For 10 years he was gone out of your life completely.
Yep.
But what's the reason behind that?
I'm not sure. I mean, it just...
But didn't you reconnect with him later? Did you ever ask him?
Yeah, it was a great reconnection. It was really hard. I came to Chicago and I actually was dating a Serbian girl at the time. It was the first like Serbian girl I had been in a relationship with, and then she came with me to Chicago to meet my dad, and that was a wild experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
But even that just shows me a lot about you. Because some people in your position would be like, well, you left me, I don't care, I don't want to meet you. You know?
Right.
Or like be having that resentment
Sure, yeah.
towards a person. Because a 5-year-old kid, there's no way that kid did anything wrong.
Right.
For someone to decide to
Yeah,
leave
like
him
at
behind.
5-year-old, like already grown enough to realize, oh, my father is not here. So you have awareness of, oh, he was here for 5 years, and then now what happened? He disappeared. But that's wow. That has had to be very healing for you.
Yeah, it was hard. I mean, I went through a lot. I really, you know, my mom always had me in therapy when I was young. I had a lot of outrage, and I went through a lot of hard times when I was like a teenager. I was incarcerated a lot. I was in and out of boot camp. I had a lot of issues, and a lot of that stemmed from not having my dad there. And then as I got to know him and got to understand him, I got to see like how hard it was coming from his world, coming from the south side of Chicago, which is not an easy place to grow up. So it really gave me perspective, and now we have a great relationship, and I love him. And you know, nobody's perfect, but the fact that I am able to be here, that I can, and every time I call him, I'm like, man, I came from your balls. You know, like I tell him, like, I literally come from your balls. I just be like joking, but I love the fact that I'm alive. I love the fact that I am able to talk to my dad, to talk to my mom. I'm really grateful for those things. And a lot of people take that for granted, you know? And I don't think any parents are grateful, or most parents, I don't think a lot of people are truly grateful for their parents. They don't give their parents enough credit. You know? And I'm not a parent yet, but I can just imagine how hard it is.
I feel for majority of people, it's not that maybe they're not grateful. I think it takes, like you have to realize that this is your parents' first time living too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when I read that thing where it says like, oh my God, this is your first time for your parents. They're alive. This is their first time on the planet too. Like you need to have understanding towards them. And once you bring awareness to that, I think only then you can be grateful for your parents and for whatever they did, or, you know, even what they didn't do. So yeah, to the point, like, I don't think people are aware that they are not grateful. You need to remind yourself of that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I'm grateful for everything. Grateful for you. Grateful for you. I'm grateful for everybody watching this right now. I'm just grateful to be alive, to be on this rock. We're literally spinning around on a rock in space. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. No, we need to do that. We need to remind ourselves every day, I'm breathing, I'm alive, it's sunny outside, and it's so important to do that, because once you do that, it's like your life just becomes better too. It gets better, you know? So
just focusing on what people consider to be little things, right? But usually the little things are what
are the biggest
up your
things.
life.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like you said, even when I work out, like yesterday I took a yoga class and I'm just sitting there at the end and I'm like, my body just allowed me to do the craziest poses for 60 minutes straight with no pain, with no issues, with no anything. And it's like, that's a huge thing, but people don't think like that. They just go take a class, they go here, they just take that for granted until they lose their health or something happens.
I was just about to say, people take for granted their health, because if you don't have your health, no matter how much money you have, no matter what car you're driving, it's like you're gone, man. Like if you don't have your health, nothing matters.
Yeah.
Nothing, literally nothing matters. So yeah, that's the first thing that I'm grateful for always, every day, every moment, for my health. And then we can go from there.
That's good. It takes a lot of perspective.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, we're going to speak in Serbian, Croatian, Bosnian, because I want to learn more about this language. And if I didn't know about this language, I wouldn't have met you guys.
Yeah.
So, sad, odakle si ti, Petra?
Iz Hrvatske.
Hrvatske.
Iz Rijeke. Aha.
Reke, nikad bio Reke. Ovo je lepo Reke.
Prelijepo je, mali grad, jako mali, koliko imamo, 150.000 ljudi.
Aha, ja sam samo bio Zagreb i Split.
Pa to su obično dva grada u koje ljudi i turisti najviše idu.
Da.
Aha.
Ili u Dalmaciju, naravno.
I koliko dugo si bio u Los Angelesu?
Sad sam ovdje već 7 godina.
7 godina.
Od 2018. da.
I šta ti misliš u Los
U Los
Angelesu?
Angelesu sviđa mi se. Osjećam se sretno ovdje, najviše zbog vremena, zato što ja sam baš vrijeme jako utječe na mene i moj mozak i moje raspoloženje. Ali fale mi moji prijatelji, svi moji najbliži prijatelji i najbliža rodbina, svi su tamo. Tako da to je jedna stvar koja mi fali, ali idem često, sigurno 2-3 put godišnje. Tako da.
Da li sviđa tvoj život u Amerika ili u Hrvatska bolje?
Pa taj odgovor ti mogu dati tako što odgovorim sebi da li sam sretnija ovdje ili tamo. I da li bi se htjela vratiti. Da mi kažeš sad sutra se možeš vratiti u Hrvatsku, da li bi se htjela vratiti? Ne bi. Ne vidim sebe više u Hrvatskoj dugoročno.
Da.
Ali, kažem, kako god mi zapali odem i to je to.
I samo 7 godina si bio u Amerika.
7.
Svaka ti čast. Ti
Ja.
pričaj dobro engleski sad.
Tu i tamo malo me gramatika nekad zeza.
Ne, odlično.
Sad imam osjećaj da mi kad pričam i hrvatski, da me gramatika zeza. Ne znam, nijedan ni drugi jezik ne pričam sad savršeno.
Što moj tata kaže, ja engleski nisam naučio, naš sam zaboravio.
Da, tebi svaka čast na tome što si naučio srpski jezik, hrvatski, naš jezik.
Moje teško, malo teško.
Ja stvarno ne znam niti jednog Amerikanca osobno koji je ovoliko savladao jezik koliko si ti savladao.
Stvarno?
Da.
I was 16 years old when I met my kum David in school. And he came to the school.
Where in school?
I was living in South Dakota.
Okay.
And he came to the school, and I thought he was a Russian kid or something. And he said, "No, I'm from Serbia." And I was like, "Siberia?" And he was like, "No, Serbia." And I was like, "Syria?"
What the heck is
I
that?
didn't know. And he's like, "No, that's Syria." Like, I was like, "Siberia? I don't know." Syria. So then he's like, "No, I'm from Serbia." And we got in a fight after school because I was kind of like making fun of him. And then he knocked me out and literally knocked me out because I thought I was tough. But when it comes to Balkan people are very tough. You got to leave them alone. You just drink a little rakia and leave them alone.
Maybe they don't look tough, but
they're tough
they're
people.
tough
You guys are really
people.
tough people. So he beat me up and put me in the hospital.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was
Damn.
bad. It was bad. And then after that, he got out, and then I went to a dance. And after that, actually, after he put me in the hospital, he beat me up, put me in the hospital, and then my mom came to the hospital. When I woke up, like I saw my mom there, and she was crying, and she's like, "Jibri, I just can't. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to like help you anymore." So she ended up sending me to boot camp. So I went to like a military school.
How old you were at
I
this point?
was 15, 16 years old.
Okay, wow.
And I went to the boot camp, and I got out in 3 months. The boot camp changed my life. I never got in trouble after that again. And then after that boot camp, I went to this party, like dance, and I saw this girl in the corner like singing. She was like, "Znam za jedan grad, zove se Beograd." I was like, "What language is that?" She's like, "It's Serbian." And I'm like, "I don't know where that's at." And then she's like, "It's in Eastern Europe, Southeast Europe." And so anyways, I was like, "Well, you're beautiful. Can I take you on a date?" And then we started dating. And then after about 2 months, she's like, "Let me introduce you to my mother, Milica." And I was like, "Hey, nice to meet you." And she's like, "Let me introduce you to my twin brother, David." And he came around the corner, and I was like, "Oh, goodness." She's
The
like,
guy
"You know
that
that guy?"
knocked
I was
you
like, "That's
out?
the guy that beat me up, that
No
knocked me
way.
out." That was her brother. And then he became this, he saw me, and I'm like, "Well, I'm with your sister." So we kind of forgave each other, and everything was okay. And then after that, he took me to Serbia. That's like when everything changed for me. Like that
Wow.
changed my whole outlook on life. Like
Really?
it changed my outlook on life.
Why?
Just because I remember like he was like, me and his sister broke up after like 2 years, and then I was really sad about it. And he's like, look, get over this. Let me take you to my place, to my home, Serbia. So he took me to Serbia.
Belgrade?
To Belgrade. But he lives in Novi Sad, in Sremski Karlovci, outside of Novi Sad. So I remember like the first time I'm being 18 years old, and like we literally arrive at the airport, and like his friend Mickey picks us up in like a little Yugo, like little Yugo card. He's like, hey, like, yes, it was a tiny little card. I'm like, wow, that's like one of the smallest cards I've ever seen. And you know, I'm American. I got a lot of clothes. I got a lot of shoes and everything. So I was bringing these 2 big suitcases, and then he's like, well, we'll fit them in. Like, yeah, biga. Like, let's fit these in the car. So we put like wood in the back. We hold wood on the roof, and like drove 45 minutes like this. And he had like rakia. I'm like, what is that? He's like, this is rakia. I was like, what is this? And he's like, this is medicine. This heals your soul. This
He's like driving and sipping on the
Yes.
So,
And I'm
so classy.
so classy. So that I'm drinking the rakia, that I'm like, whoa. And then I just like, from that point on, I just felt like it was a different world. Like I was just looking out the window, and Thomas Drakovic was playing on the radio station, and I was just feeling like in such a different land. And then the Balkan people were like the first people to really like look at me and just treat me so good. Like
Really?
they treated me better than anybody's ever treated me. And it was a bizarre feeling, because they just were like, I remember like the first time I get there was this guy, and he was like, he was just like peeing on the side of the street. Like, and I would have, and then I was like, so wait, because we're at like a club, and the guy was like, yeah, I was like, where's the bathroom? I didn't speak any Serbian at that time, and he's like, the bathroom's over there. I'm like, on the street? I'm like, yeah, just be over anyway. So I'm like, okay. So I went to pee, and the old guy's just peeing next to me, looking next to me, and he's like, where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from America. And he's like, oh, you know your country, bomb my country. And I was like, I didn't know what to say. I'm like in the middle of peeing. I'm like, I'm so sorry, you know? And then he's like, yeah, biga. Like, and I'm like, what does that mean? He's, fuck it. You know, he said like, fuck it. And then he's like, it's okay. And then after that, he's like, let me buy you a shot of rakia, you know? And I'm like, wait, this guy just said that my country attacked his country, and he wants to buy me a shot of rakia. Like, that was so bizarre to me. And then I remember like one time I went to one of the bartenders was like, hey, you should come to my house and be a guest at my house. So I go to his house, and he's like, I don't know, I came at like 12 o'clock at night, and his mom was sleeping. And his mom was like, Daniel, coyeto. And then she like comes out, and then she sees me. And then she's like, huh? And she like shuts the door. And then he runs, and she's like in her pajamas and stuff. And she's like, Anya, srnac. And he's like, Americanac. Oh, she like went, changed her clothes, came out, and then she like made me some like gibenica and like some food. And like, I was like, this woman just woke up at 12 o'clock at night to give me food.
Wow.
It didn't make any sense to me. And then when we woke up in the morning, she like woke me up in the morning because I slept there. And then she's like, I made you American food. And it was like grilled cheese sandwich. She like looked on Google how to make American food, and she saw it was like a grilled cheese sandwich. So it was just like going to the Balkans for the first time was just like life-changing for me. And ever since I went there, 18 years old, I have been going to the Balkans every year, twice a year since I was 18 years old. I've been to the Balkans so many times. And I've seen all of Serbia, all of Macedonia, all of a lot of Montenegro, a lot of Croatia, and then I got to go to Bosnia. That's the next place to see.
Sure.
So I'm hoping that, Daya, you can tell me where to go in Bosnia, right? So I really want to go to Sarajevo. I want to go to all over Bosnia. And I'm just like, I'm really inspired by the Balkan culture. You guys have been like my second home. You guys have been there for me throughout everything. And like, I'm really been passionate about bringing people to the Balkans. So like my grandma, she came to the Balkans. I brought my sister, my cousins. I brought, I think over 100 people I brought to the Balkans.
That's amazing. You're like ambassador for Serbia.
And it's, you know, it's not even like by like, I don't even try. It's just, it just happens to me. And even when I was living in Los Angeles for the first time, when I was like 18 years old, I met two Croatian people that are still dear to my heart from this day that have opened up different chapters for me. You know, Jelena Leko, you know that girl. She's in Croatia. And then there's a guy named Victor who taught me. My first Muay Thai instructor in Los Angeles was this Croatian guy who would just whoop my ass and like yell at me in Croatian.
That's
and he brought
amazing.
me to Croatia and like taught me about Crow Cop and all of like, it just, I'm just so grateful.
What do you think the biggest difference is between American people and then maybe even European people in general?
I think that specifically Southeast Europe just moves at a slower pace. At least it did 10 years ago when I first went. Now I feel like it moves a lot faster. And so for me, going to the Balkans for the first time is like when I call one of my American friends and like, hey, you want to go get coffee? They'll be like, do we have some business to talk about or something? And like when I first went to the Balkans, like for the first time, I was like, we were sitting at a coffee shop for 4 hours talking about Novak Djokovic or something. I'm like, what? You guys not work? Like, oh, it's hard here. We don't have any money. I'm like, yeah, but how do you guys afford all this coffee and cigarettes? It's kombinacija, you know, like it's all.
Like a nini, yeah.
It's like a thing. Every day we hang out, we go to coffee. I mean, even now when I go back to Belgrade, I mean, that's all we do. We're like, let's go have some coffee and
Drink
then
coffee.
let's go out, listen to live music. And I think there's something that Balkan people have in common that's so interesting, no matter how successful they are. Like, for example, if you think of like Novak Djokovic, if you think Jokic, if you think Luka Modric, anyone, they hear our music, those people are on the chairs right away. They're like, like dancing, having fun. You know, it's like we have that in our blood.
Yeah, it's in our blood, man. And it's hard to explain to other people that feeling, you know?
Yeah, my sister and I, we would go to all these parties here, you know, and it's like the nicest houses or this yacht and this yacht. And we'd sit next to each other and be like, I wish we had just some Serbian music.
Yeah, I've never like, I don't know, I've never been to places like the Balkan parties are so crazy. Even like svadbas and like weddings, like I would just go and I would see like these, like I remember the first time I went to Serbia when I was like 18 years old and my friend was like, we're gonna go to a slava, and I didn't know what that was. And then I went and there was like grandma dancing on the table, and then there was like this big uncle and he was putting like the glass on his head and he's like, oh, and then he stood on the glass and he's like, oh, he's like a really big guy like standing on the glass. I'm like, these people are just so fun. And you guys have been through so much in like 100 years. It's just like, I don't know. I want to learn everything about all of Southeast Europe. And I'm also inspired to go to Russia too. Like I'm inspired to go to places that normally Americans don't visit. That's kind of like my thing, is like I want to see every country and be able to share my perspective and opinion. So I just feel like I'm different, you know? I feel like I'm a wild card, unicorn, or somebody different. So I want to give my love to every single country and culture. So the Balkan people feel very masculine. Like when I go to the Balkans, and anybody watching this, you should go to Croatia, you should go to Bosnia, you should go to Serbia, and you should experience this culture because they're just so, it just makes you feel alive. It makes you feel really strong. Like they'll be like, "Desi, brate," like grab you, like they're just really rough. The people are so inspiring. And then I love Southeast Asia because it just feels like a mom or a grandma. Like, you know, it's like going to Thailand and sawadika, kunchiara.
I was telling her she would absolutely love Bali.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, Bali is Mama Bali. And I mean, we had an amazing time there. Like Bali is just, the Balinese people are some of the nicest, kindest people.
Really?
Yeah, and the Balkan people are too, because they're like, and when it comes to like...
So Asian people are much more welcoming, or...
No, it's different.
No.
Southeast Asia is like a feminine energy to me. It feels like mother or like a grandmother.
Okay.
And then when I go to the Balkans, it feels like a grandfather or a dad to me. Does that make sense?
That
Yeah.
makes, I love how you put that in, like in a person, like the energy in a person, like that feels like grandmother or that feels like
But
mother.
both of
That's
those
so good.
places in the world, for me, as a black man, as a individual, a person of color, I feel safe in those territories. I feel like, you know, like one time last year I was in Serbia, and this police officer pulled us over in the car, me and my friend, and he put on the lights, and he was like, he pointed at me, he's like, "Dođi vamo." And I was like, okay. He's like, "Daj mi tvoj pasoš." And I was like, okay, nema problem. I gave him my pasoš. He's like, "Daj mi tvoj broj." I was like, "Moj broj?" He goes, daj mi tvoj broj. Okay, nije problem. Da on moj broj kaže, ja radim nešto nije dobro ili šta? On kaže, ne, brate, ja hoću ti da dođeš u moj slavo, brate. Jebote u Amerika, ako policija kaže, daj mi to i broj, ja ću, ajde, razumiješ? I u Srbiji on kaže, ajde dođi u moj slava, brate, da piju malo rakije. I feel safe in Serbia. I feel safe over there. I feel like there's no issues. I've never had one issue.
I was just about to ask you, have you ever felt somebody being racist towards you in Serbia?
No, I've never had any issues. I've never had any issues in the Balkans. I know where there's usually an issue is if you're involved in like the criminal activities, but I'm not involved in that, and I don't get involved in that stuff. So I just feel safe. Like I just feel safe there. And in Southeast Asia, especially Thailand, I feel safe. Thai culture is so important with tattoos. So these tattoos on the side of my head, these are from monks. These are Sakyant tattoos from monks. I had the whole head, my whole head's tattooed from the monks.
Way.
So the Thai people, when they see my tattoos, they're like, honored, they're blessed, they're like, wow, they give me a lot of props for that. When a lot of other places in the world, they see my tattoos, they're like, oh, he's a criminal, or he's scary. Thailand accepts me. They're like, wow, he's a warrior, look at him.
Yeah, because you told me even in Japan, they didn't even let you go in the gym because you have tattoos.
No, in Japan, you can't go in majority of gyms without tattoos.
They're strict with that.
They don't
A
allow
lot
you
of
to
onsen, some hotels won't accept you,
That's too bad. You see, I've only been to Japan, and I love Japan.
Japan's amazing.
I love Japan. I love Tokyo.
I want to go there so bad.
Oh, it's
you're
so
gonna love
amazing.
it.
It's probably one of my, if not the most favorite country that I've ever been to.
Yeah.
I keep hearing that.
But I didn't know that about the tattoos. I wonder because they're so proper. They're like so like clean. You can literally eat from the floor in Japan, in Tokyo.
Well, Japan is a very interesting world because of the Yakuza for Tokyo. So that's their gang culture is the Yakuza. So just like in the Balkans, you would have mafia, right? But in Japan, there's Yakuza that runs that. In order to be in the Yakuza, you need to have tattoos all the way from here, all the way down. You don't do your hands and you don't do your neck. So in Japanese culture, if you have tattoos, you're part of the Yakuza.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yes.
Okay, so they assume that you're a gang member pretty much.
So they still exist?
Yes.
Really?
And actually, when I was in Tokyo, I haven't told this story, but I told this story actually to my grandma. She's like, Jibri, I go on crazy adventures. So one time I went down this street in Tokyo and this guy was like, hey, you want to go to new bar? He was like a Japanese guy. Then I was like, yeah, my first time in Tokyo. So I go into this, he takes me, he's like, I take you to special bar. I was like, okay, take me to this special bar. So he takes me to this bar and we go into like the room. The room looks like just like a regular, the building looks like a regular building, right? But when you go in the building, it feels like you're in some luxury suite. Like going up the elevators are all padded with like red leather. It like feels really nice. And then you get to the top and there's these guys in suits, these bald guys in suits. And then they're like, at the door, they're like entry, and the entry is like $100 to get in. And I'm like, wait, what do I get with the $100? Like, unlimited drinks 1 hour. So I was like, okay. I was like, 1 hour? I was like, for $100 bucks? I was like, let's do it. Let's drink. I'm in Tokyo one time. I just had sushi. I'm feeling good.
Might as well drink a few drinks.
Might as well drink a few drinks. So I pay the $100 fee. I go into the room, and then I realize that it's like a strip club or something like that I'm in. And I'm like, this is a strip club in Japan. I'm like, well, I'm in Japan. I'm already here. Okay, let's go. I paid the $100. So I go in and there's like these girls lined up against the wall and there's all these guys in suits smoking cigars. And then you got my black ass in there looking way out of place. I'm like wearing like a tank top, like whatever. And everybody kind of looks at me, but then they're like, whatever. So I sit down. And so the girl comes next to you and she starts talking to you. She's not like dancing or anything, but she's just like talking to you, flirting with you. And I'm like, I asked her, what is this? And she didn't speak any English. So then we're like talking on Google Translate. She's like, oh, this is like a strip bar, like striptease, you know? I was like, okay. I'm like, but you guys dance? And, you know, she's like in a bikini and she's like, no, we don't dance. We just talk to you. Because a lot of people in Japan pay to have attention because they're like, a lot of people pay for companies. So they'll pay for friends or they'll pay for somebody to take them on a date or just to talk to somebody. It's very bizarre. A lot of people make a living like that in Japan.
Because they say that a lot of people from those cultures, and they say themselves that usually they're cold and they don't really show emotions that much.
In Japan, I'm not sure if that's the case. I just know that like in Japan and Tokyo specifically, a lot of people pay for time, for each other's time. You can like rent an old person to come with you to a bar, right? Yeah. So I'm in this place. I don't know what it is. So I literally sit down. I'm talking to this girl and we're having like a fun conversation through Google Translate. And then all of a sudden she pours me a drink. I'm drinking. She pours herself a drink. We're drinking. And then another girl comes up and she's like, arigato mas. Like, and then she's like, do you want me to sit with you? And then the other girl's like, do you want me to leave? And then I told the girl there, I was like, no, you don't have to leave. And she's like, she looked at the other girl like, no. So the other girl left. I was like, okay. And then another girl comes up like 15 minutes later and she's like, okay, do you want me to sit with you? And I'm like, no, it's cool. We're having a great conversation, you know? So then she leaves. And then another one, I'm like, okay, what is going on here? She's like, you want me to sit with you, right? I'm like, yeah, like you just stay with me. And so afterwards, a guy comes up and he's like, sir, your hour's up. You know, he told me. And I was like, okay, no problem. So I'm ready. I was like, say goodbye. Then I leave. I'm like, this is so weird. I'm in like this some underground club with all these guys smoking cigars. And then literally I leave to go out. And at this point, I've drank so much sake or whiskey or whatever I was drinking. I was a little drunk. And I started walking out. I was like, arigato. Like, I'll say bye to everybody and thank you. And then all of a sudden some guy stops me like on my chest. And he's like, arigato. And I was like, oh, I don't understand, bro. He's like, and he like put him on Google Translate. He's like, you owe an outstanding bill for the drinks. And I said, what do you mean? You told me it was $100 for all you can drink for an hour. He's like, and he's like, yes, you still owe for her drinks. So apparently she wasn't drinking my drinks. That girl sitting next to me was drinking her own drinks. And then I'm like, okay, so how much is the bill? So he pulls out this receipt. It's like this long. And I was like, wait, what? And it's like so much yen. I didn't know what it was. So I put in my conversion and it was like, I owe him $700 for this thing. I'm like, $700? I'm like, man, I'm not paying that. You should have told me. I told him, you should have told me at the beginning. You told me it was only $100. And so then I'm like, nah, I'm not paying that. And he's like, well, I'm like, why is it $700? He's like, every time that girl comes to ask you to sit with you and you say no, it's another $100. Because you're supposed to like, everybody's supposed to be able to talk to every girl at that little bar. So I was like, okay, or whatever. So then I leave. So I'm like, no, I'm not paying that. So I'm like, no, I'm going.
So do those girls, if the guys wanted to, like, hook up with them?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what.
Because that doesn't make any sense.
I'm not
$700 to talk to people.
So I'm literally talking for $700 at this bar. And then I'm like, I'm not paying that. So I leave. So I start leaving to go out the elevator. And then all of a sudden the guy stops me like this. And he's like, puts the bill up. And I'm like, no, I'm not paying that. I'm like, I'm leaving. And I go to leave. And then he stands in front of me in the elevator. And he's like, he talks on his radio. And then some other guy comes out the back. This dude's like 6'6", big old Japanese dude, bald. I could see the tattoos on him. I could see the tattoos from here to here. And then he had like...
he's one of those gang members.
He literally had a mask on that looked like Mortal Kombat. It looked like a COVID mask, but it was like this. And he was like this, and he looked at me, and he pulled up his like suit jacket and pulled out like a little sword. It looked like this. And he was like...
no.
And I looked at him, and I'm just like... And I looked back at the other guy, I was like, do you guys take credit card? Like, I'm like, look, bro, like, we don't have to have, this doesn't have to be a whole, you know,
whole dramatic
action scene, you know what I mean? I don't even know, like, jujitsu that well, you know what I mean? Like, let me just pay. So I was, like, so mad. I just, like, put my Apple Pay. I was like, beep, for that little $700. But I'm like, yeah, the Yakuza got me in Japan. So
no.
Wow. Right. Thanks for sharing that story. It's so funny.
Yeah, so at least I didn't get, cut up at night. But, so that's why the tattoos, I think, in Japan are looked down upon. But that's okay, you know?
Yeah,
just gotta know.
Yeah, it's their culture.
It reminds me a little bit about the story of Thailand when you went to that underground bar and with all those girls. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When you were telling me. And I just think it's so sad that a lot of tourists don't know that happens. Like me, myself, when I got to Thailand the first time, everyone talks about this ping pong show, right? And everyone messages you on Instagram, make sure you go to ping pong show. Like if you go to Thailand.
Like a ping, like tables?
No.
Not that kind of ping pong. It's not that ping pong show.
So, yeah, it's really wild, but basically it's kind of like a strip club with women, strippers, dancers. They shoot out ping pongs from their vagina at the people. I'm not joking. So literally every single person was like, go to ping pong show. So I was so excited to go see it. So I go to, I'm like, like super excited. I'm like, oh my God, where do I pay? Blah, blah, blah. And then there's this like, it's like in the alley. It's not really even like really on the street. You have to like go in and they take your phone, they take your camera, and it just feels sketchy. And I remember I was with my friend and we're like walking, this lady, she's like walking us in and we're like, are we getting kidnapped? Like, is this normal? And the lady's like, no, don't worry. It's just in the back. We go in. And it's like women dancing everywhere. And then there's a woman on the stage. And she literally, when I tell you guys, anything you can think of, it was in there.
Wow.
And this is okay. No, this is okay to talk about because this is the reality, right? And at one point she had a little mouse. She literally pulled a little mouse out and was like running between people. And all of a sudden,
no. What?
Yes.
Actual mouse?
Actual mouse. Then all of a sudden she goes, "What?" And it's a little fish, and she throws it in a little like bowl.
No.
And the little fish is like
Don't
swimming.
tell me that. I'm gonna
and
throw
then not much later, I'm sitting right in front of her, like right there. Not much later, she goes, and it goes like right on me. This freaking ping pong hits me right here. I was like, no, what do I do now? And I'm having like a panic attack. I was like,
dude, that's disgusting.
I was like, what do I do now? Like, and I'm like, alcohol. And they're like, I was like, just give me a shot of whatever you have. And I'm like literally pouring it on here. And I'm telling my friend, I was like, I've seen enough. Let's get the hell out of here. And I didn't realize how sad that actually is, because I thought those women want to be there, right? And I thought those women, that's how they make money. But and then like when you really get deep, you understand that it is a form of human trafficking, sex trafficking, and a lot of those women over there, that's not their choice, and it's really sad.
This was in Thailand?
This was in Thailand, and it's a huge business where tourists all over the world go, and they actually, they have sex with like underage. They have sex with teenagers, So for me, every time like an older male says, "Oh, I'm going to Thailand. It's my favorite place to go. I go, 2-3 times a year by myself." In my head, I'm automatic like, okay, well, I know what goes on in Thailand. I'm not trying to judge everyone, but it's a sad reality. And so I wanted you to just for the end, I know our show's already getting a little long, but just share that story of you in Thailand and how you felt about those girls that you shared with me.
Yeah, I think that just traveling around the world, like one thing that's super important for everybody to keep in mind is like we have to protect each other, because we're one. There's one human race. I mean, there's one race, the human race. And especially for me growing up with a mom who's a therapist, my grandma who's an educator, my aunt who's a delivery nurse, it's like I've always been conditioned to protect women and children. And that's the sad case of what happens in a lot of other countries. I mean, it happens here in America, but really in Thailand, Thai culture is so beautiful. And so it's not just that, but a lot of like people in the smaller villages, they don't have money. So a lot of times they send these kids out to be Muay Thai fighters from a young age, risking their life to get CTE and fight. Yeah. And some of those young kids fight every single week. And then there's, girls that start at the age of like 13 with prostitution and stuff like that. And so it's really sad. And even some of the worst stuff I've seen is, one of the worst things I saw was in Zagreb, actually. I saw insane, some of those clubs that I went to and saw really sad cases of like girls being trafficked, and Colombian girls in Zagreb, and just and just like really sad things. So the majority of the time when you get to travel, you get to see how important it is that you protected one another. And one of the girls I met in Thailand, her dad had sent her to this hotel to work out, which was
me, like when you asked her like how much she made.
She made like $800 when it converted for like 7 months of her time. No. And she was working 7 days a week and sleeping with over 5 guys per day.
No.
Yeah.
So like that's so traumatic, and that's so much. So, one thing that was really good about my mom before I even went overseas was just telling me about all of this and showing me the realities, because my mom's as a therapist, and then my mom's worked in women's shelters with women that were abused, and my mom just like really gave me that information. So a lot of guys will go and think that it's fun and that they get involved with like sex tourism, and it's lame. It's lame. It's not cool. There's nothing fun about it. There's nothing exciting or entertaining about it. And I think that majority of people should know that. And I know people that went overseas and got STDs that they couldn't even get rid of. I knew somebody who had a rash all over his chest, and just like, it's not worth the risk of that. And it's really, it's one of those things that when you travel overseas, you see a lot of that stuff, and it's sad.
We're talking about it everywhere, but I had a friend who did it here.
I was just about to say, what about OnlyFans and everything that's going on in America? Yeah. I don't see any difference between women here and women in Thailand. it's only that American women are earning like millions and
Well,
millions and millions of dollars.
The big difference is that a lot of women here choose to do it. And
Yeah, of
women
course.
in Thailand
Yeah.
and other places, like you said, some of them,
Yeah.
you know, the dad sent them and stuff. But yeah, I just think it gets really, really, really complicated once you pass that boundary of no more self-respect. And then it's like, just goes downhill. I've seen it with countless women working in nightlife. And, you know, they come, these like new girls from, they're the pretty girl in Texas. They're the pretty girl in their state of Illinois or whatever. And then they come to LA and they're kind of like a 4
Average,
or a
yeah.
5 out of 10, you know, and then they see very quickly they're not becoming famous models, they're not becoming famous actresses, but they still have that like spark in their eye, and they're beautiful, and they're young, and they're naive, and they like come to clubs and they're dancing, blah blah. I'm not even kidding you. Within 6 months, they starting to look dead inside. It is like no more spark in the eye, very sad energy, just kind of sitting there, and you already know like she's been working to stay in LA, you know, and sometimes it's hard. The temptation is out there, you know, and it's like you're meeting these men who are like, I'll give you $5,000, and she can't pay rent this month. And once you do it one time, then it's like it just goes downhill. I actually have someone that I know, which I'm not going to get into her story because, you know, out of respect for her family, but she committed suicide. I actually know two women who have committed suicide. One did huge campaigns for the biggest brands. Her face was everywhere because she was having sex with the owner of the brand. And she ended up killing herself.
Which one, yeah.
Of course.
Rest in paradise.
She ended up killing herself in a very, very scary way. And when they found her, they found $2 million in her safe. All the cash that she got from Saudi men who you know, they would just give her cash for her services.
Wow.
So it's like the oldest business, I guess we could say, in the books, but it's the business where you do lose your soul. And at least in LA and in America, we're privileged, and most of us do have a choice, and then in other countries they don't. And I just think it's important to know, and awareness is number one. So for example, for me, I will never go to a ping pong show again. And it's kind of like even elephants, you know, how they abuse elephants. So people are like, don't go, don't support that. I think the first step is, what can we do? We can raise awareness, and we cannot support that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Rest in paradise to you guys' friend. Well, that's hard. Do you guys think OnlyFans is, how do you feel about OnlyFans?
I don't have a good opinion about it. Just what she just said. I think it's a big temptation, and I think the girls who do it, they just think, you know, oh, I'm gonna earn $150,000 this month. Of course, I'm gonna do it. But then, as you keep doing it, you're just losing yourself more and more, and that's. I mean, no amount of money can replace that, you know.
As beautiful women, have you guys felt pressure to get into sex work or into like the porn industry or into any OnlyFans or?
No, that never even crossed my mind. I was telling Dajana how I never, you know, I lived in Milan for 4 years, and I was very young, and I was going out Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, almost every day. And I was never offered the cocaine. I was never offered any weird things that you just mentioned, you know, like I was just never around those kind of people, I guess, or I was just not giving off that energy.
I was just gonna say that.
You know,
you
I was
were
just
definitely
never,
around those people.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was going out a lot. So I guess I was just, never giving off that energy, and I never got any of those, not requests, but, you know.
Yeah. My issue with OnlyFans is that, like, first of all, it's owned by a man, and I think they take 30% of the profit that you get. And then on top of that, majority of women that I know that do well on OnlyFans have another man managing them, taking 50%. So by the time they're done with everything, it's just a digital online strip club that they're being manipulated by a man. That's how it's always felt
Is that
with
how
me.
much they're getting charged? Like
Depends.
you're saying 50% of their earned money are going to somebody else?
The majority of the
It's
ones
going
that
to
I
somebody
know
else.
have somebody running it for them that's taking
Really?
50%. Yes.
But still, I mean, I just saw this video. I mean, I don't know how much of that is true, but I saw the video of this girl saying how she's making like $1 million a month. So you're saying she's making probably 500,000, which
Well,
is still
even,
freaking.
yeah, well, even if she's making that, I don't know who's behind her team, whatever else, but the majority of it just still, you're putting yourself in a position where now you have yourself all over the internet, or you have yourself available to a lot of people that, first of all, puts you in danger because people are paying to see you and they feel like they have a relationship with you.
I just think it's so
That's a good
funny
point.
how, I mean, I'm just gonna say it for lack of a better word, how stupid these men are, that they actually think that they're chatting with the girl. Like, to me, that's beyond me. Like, you really think she's sitting there texting you back? Because that's probably another man.
Right.
That's literally like asked this girl before, hey, which word do you prefer, dick or cock? I mean, that's literally how it is. He'll ask her, hey, how do you usually talk? Like, what do I say to this man? Oh, you do like a questionnaire about basic things, like where you're from, what languages you speak, blah, blah, blah. And then when these men talk to you, the guy really behind this whole thing is just responding to them. And I think it's just, how stupid do you have to be to really buy it and think you're talking to the girl?
And not even how stupid, how lonely, because the majority of those men are married. Majority of these men are married.
They're married, which
kids.
makes it even crazier, you know? And then I've had this company reach out to me over and over and over and over again. And they're a company that just uses your pictures. So they give you about $2,000, $3,000 a month just to use your pictures and pretend like they're you. And you have to be okay with that. So you literally get a check of $3,000 every month, and they it's like this Russian company, and these men from America, from all over the world, they think they're chatting with the actual girl. So they use your picture, they use a bunch of them. So these men start buying you gifts. So they buy you an iPhone, they buy you this, they buy that, and then the company sends it to the girl, and they have the girl take a picture with it. And then they send that picture back to the man and say, see, I got the gift, thank you so much, baby, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, some men really, like, I've seen stories of these men thinking they're going to meet the love of their life and marry her in Russia. Right. I mean, it's actually beyond me that people still fall for this in 2025. And what these companies do in that case is they call the girl and they offer her a huge amount of money just to go and say she doesn't speak English. And then there's a translator. And then this translator goes with you, and you go to this meeting, and this man's like, you know, he's been chatting with you for 6 months, and you've been telling him you're trying to find a husband, someone that will give you babies, someone you're selling them the story.
He's being catfished.
He's being catfished, and he shows up, and he's so excited, you know, this is his potentially his wife. And you show up and you just like sit there and look at him all, you know, uncomfortable. And the translator is speaking for you. And he's like, but why is she not? She's like, oh, she's just a little uncomfortable. And this is what happens every day. This company sends me a message to this day all the time asking, all we need is your pictures. And I'm like, that's not what you need though. You're like scamming people. You're giving me $3,000 every single time he messages. You're getting money. So if they're giving me $3,000, they're making like 15.
Sure.
Yeah, I've never been on any of these sites. So I can't relate. And I've never like paid for a subscription or paid. I just can't relate to that thought process. I've never been that. I have been catfished once. Like.
Have you?
Yeah, I mean, last year I got catfished.
Last year?
Yeah, like this time last year. I would say it's catfish. You tell me if it's catfish. But like this girl on Instagram sent me a message and she was like, Serbian girl. And she was like, hey, I'm in Belgrade. Hoćete jedeš nešto, like you want to go to a restaurant? I was like, okay, like we can go. And I saw her photo, she looked like, I know a majority of people use FaceApp and editing and everything else. Okay, no problem. I saw her photos. But I didn't really look close enough at her photos, but that's okay. Like I go. So then she's like, okay, let's go to Skadarlia. Like she knew where she wanted to go. So okay, I'll see you at Skadarlia. And then we go to Skadarlia. I'm like looking for her and I can't find her. And then I'm like, message her on there. She's like, oh, here I am. And then I see her waving. And like, she was like 100 kilos. Like she was way big. Like she did not look like how she looked in those photos. Like I took like completely different than how it looked. But I was like, hey, yeah, Bigo, we're already here. Yeah, of course, we already here. You know, we already here. I'm not gonna be like that. But she did not look like how she looked in those photos. So I was like, okay, it's okay. So we go on the date. And then we go to the date and I'm like, which restaurant you want to go to? She knew which restaurant we wanted to go to. We sit down and then I'm like, što hoćete piješ? And she's like, vino, okay. And I'm like, hoću jedan tas. She's like, ne, ceo flash of vino, like, ceo vino. I was like, okay, no problem. We get the whole bottle of wine, vino, okay, to je to. And then she's like, I'm like, što hoćete jesti? I'm like, I want, just piletinu i krompir. And she's like, no, let's get the meat platter, like the big meat platter. I was like, okay. I was like, but that's for 4 ljudi, She's like, nema veze, ja sam gladan. I go, okay, super. She gets the meat platter. That platter is big. I'm eating like gomadica. She's just eating all of it, She's like, I'm like, to je to. She's eating. She's like, hoćeš da probaš paprika? I was like, okay. She gets 4 paprika. She's like, hoćeš da probaš salata? She's like, daj mi kupus, daj mi šopska salata. I'm like, brate, šta je to? Slava, brate, šta je slava? Ne znam šta je to. Nema veze. Ajde, jedi. To je to, još. And she's like, neki torta posle, to. I idemo, ja kaže, okay. To je to, ja sam sit, ja idem u kući, što? Ti ideš u kući sada? Kaže, da. Ona kaže, pa nećeš ti ideš, hoćeš da idemo u neki restoran, jedemo palačinke. Ja kaže, pa kakav palačinke, bre, ja idem u kući. I was like, yo, I got catfished. That was kombinacija. She probably was just not waiting the whole day to eat that food right there. Like, she did not look. And then I looked at the pictures, like, on Instagram again, and, like, it was just her face. Like, she didn't show, like, their body and everything. Which is, like, whatever. To je to, but... That I felt catfish.
You got catfish.
I got catfish
not
in Serbia.
America, but in Serbia.
For a little meal, for a whole meal at the kafana.
Well, I think it's important to know that people need to be really careful with dating apps too. I mean, I know this happened on Instagram.
But Instagram's a dating app.
Yeah,
I think Instagram's a dating app.
It's crazy nowadays. Like, you go on a dating app and you show up, and it's like completely different person.
Really?
Usually they're like 10 years younger and older than in the pictures. And yeah, there's all kinds of weird things that happen.
Have you guys used dating apps before?
Never.
I've used a dating app for like a month. After my breakup, and all my girlfriends were like, oh my God, it's actually not that bad. I met my husband on there. I just found it to be just gross. Everyone's on it, especially Raya. And then, first of all, you're paying monthly for it, which that's one of my pet peeves. I hate paying for subscriptions. I fucking hate that. But then on top of it, I put mine just for friends, because I'm like, this is kind of cool because you can meet a lot of people for business there, like a lot of producers, directors, things like that. And a lot of people are there just to network. But then it's like, if you're there for dating, everyone is seeing everyone. It's a very small dating pool in LA, and I'm not trying to go on a date that with the guy that my friends went on a date with. So it wasn't really for me. Not really my thing. But then it's like, people nowadays, where are they going to meet? If you really think about it. I mean, a lot of people work from home.
Right.
They don't go out as much. Like, I rarely go out. So where do you even meet somebody?
But that's the problem.
Yeah, so that's why these dating apps exist.
Our whole lives became like looking through a screen.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
It's
awful.
It has dramatically changed, and it's only going to change more.
Yeah.
And it's we have to evolve with it, because I think it's gonna get scary. You already have cars driving with no drivers. You already have robots delivering food. You already have ChatGPT, who now studies show is actually a better therapist, a better couples therapist than an actual therapist.
Not just therapist, like ChatGPT is great for everything.
Yeah, so people actually said, couples that go to therapy actually said that they felt that ChatGPT was giving them more time and responding with longer sentences, more in depth than a therapist. So everything's changing
it's crazy,
drastically and so fast.
Scary.
Human connection.
Yeah.
That's why we need more of this. That's why what you guys are doing, going pretty deep in your podcast, that's why it's important.
Yeah,
it is so important. And I just want to thank you for being with us today. You are the perfect first guest. If every guest can be like you from now on, we'll be very happy.
I'm gonna set the bar high, and I want you guys to just keep going, keep pushing forward. And anybody watching this, keep pushing forward, keep creating, keep excelling, and be yourself, because we need more authentic humans on the planet. We need more people that are operating in their power and purpose. And
amen.
Go pretty deep with everything in your life. Make sure you subscribe and share this episode. Subscribe to both of these ladies, Dajana, Petra.
Thank
Svaka ti čast.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, guys. See you soon. Bye.